Good morning, Facebook and YouTube. Today on How Hugh builds a teardrop trailer off a Harbor Freight frame. I'm going to start working a little bit on the frame. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Okay, the first piece I want to work on is the bottom piece that's actually going to attach to the trailer floor with nuts and bolts. So I want to get it just right. So it's just a little bit shorter than 8 feet. So I want to go ahead and mark that, and let's trim that down. Okay, so that plus a blade is the width of a couple of pieces of plywood for the sides. So let's go to the next step. Okay, I'm going to want to rip that 2x4 down to 2 inches because that's going to be the width of the foam insulation I'm going to put in the walls with some other kind of material on the inside for beauty. So I'm going to set up the saw to do that. So, okay, lock it in place. And I'm going to raise my blade a little bit higher than the height of the 2x4, so it's 1 3/4. Put my blade to just about 2 inches, and that should do just fine. Two by two piece, and it gives me a little extra piece of scrap for something later. Okay, so this is going to set just about like that. I want to get a good measurement on this because I'm going to be drilling a couple of holes, like one in there, one down there, for the bolts to go through. So I want to measure from the outside edge, which will be the edge of the trailer, to where I'm going to drill the hole, because I want to try to get it through the metal on the trailer too. If not, then I'll have to make some kind of a bracket width. Okay, so going to do some other things here too. I'll make some other marks. So I want to know which way the wall is. The wall's that way. I want to know which way the back is. The back's that way. I want to know which way up is, and this is up side. Okay. And then this is the front is that way. Okay. Let's go to the next step. Got one thing I also want to know, since I'm not going to have this piece with me, I want to know where my edges are. So Okay, so I want to actually clamp this into place. So the other plywood's not going to be quite that thick. So I'll just have to get that to be the same. Okay, now I want to make sure that that is that plywood width thick right there. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, well, after looking underneath there, I can see that there's no pre-drilled holes, so I'm going to have to either make some brackets or see if I can position it so it drills right through the frame. So let's see what I can do. Okay, so I'm going to measure how wide that frame is underneath there. It's not that big to the edge. So okay, it's 1 3/4 inches, which means if I want it to go directly into the trailer, 1 3/4 at the outside means I could center it right there, and that should, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. Is it really that far? It's about, that might work. I might be able to do it. Gonna try something I never tried before. So let's see what size that is. Looks pretty darn square to me. I don't know if that's long enough. Almost long enough. Okay, there's the hole. That's enough metal to bite on. So let's build it, let's drill it deeper or bigger. Okay, cool. Okay, something like that. 5:30 seconds. Let's get it to the right bit. Okay. There it is. Might be blurry, but anyways, came on the right spot. Let's drill it the right size. Didn't tighten it tight enough. Come on. There we go. Okay, so there's the bottom of the wall. So I'm going to attach that to the plywood, and then when I bring it all out in one unit, put those screws through, and that'll be the main attachment. And then I'll drive some, it looks like maybe 3-inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover this back up, put the tools away, go back to the next step of attaching that bottom rail. Okay, trailer's all back covered up and ready for the next bit of rain. That's sure to come. Here's the mat I'm using, the waterproof stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and squirt it off and let it dry off. It takes nothing to dry off. It's nothing to get wet. It's all poly stuff. Let that thing drip dry for a minute. It's got muddy. If you know me, I hate tracking crap into my house. Probably already did, so I'm going to squirt off the shoes. Okay, that's the bottom piece. And has the bolt holes all drilled for going into the trailer. So for now, I'm just actually going to glue this onto here, and then I'll start cutting the pieces for the frame and gluing it, then I'll flip it over. I just realized I don't have all that many wood clamps anymore. It's been a long time since I've done woodwork. Anyway, so I'm just going to use some regular old Type Bond. Gonna put it on there, brush it around, turn it over, just clamp it in place. Make sure it's where I want it. And put one right in here. Okay, so I'm bummed, but it won't be that hard of a workaround. So that's the hole right there that it's going to go into, and it's off by just a little bit. So what I'll have to do is I'll just have to notch the piece that goes right here, just down here enough for the bolt to be able to slide into it and to get a wrench on the head. So won't be perfect, but you'll never be able to see it. Only anybody who watches YouTube will know it's there. Okay. Okay, so I have some 2x3s. I'm going to cut down to 2x2s for the frame. I think I'm going to need a total of 4 more. I used one on the bottom. Okay, I cut down 4 more of the 2x3s, so I figure it's going to take 5 of them for this project. So let's do a little bit of quick math, see how much one. Fat fingers. Okay, got hopefully a fresh battery. These seem to last a while. It's an Energizer. A lot of them, so this one says it'll go 5 years sitting on the shelf. Well, it hasn't been. Here we go. That's how it's supposed to look. So let's see how much one of these weighs. I'm thinking it weighs at least a couple pounds. Wow, still weighs almost 5 pounds. So 5 of them is going to put another 25 pounds on that wall. Okay, let's start cutting out the frame. So it'll be pretty simple. Just lay it out and mark it. We'll make some cuts. Okay, that looks like it. So let's plug it in and cut it. See how close we are. Okay, I decided just to recut that, so I recut that, And then now I know, because I want to, it turns out I want to have my super flat edge facing down, so against the plywood. So that means I'm gonna have to flip this one, but the saw's already set up, so as long as I get the right flip on the board on the saw, it'll be the same angle. So I'm gonna mark it for the direction I want it to go, and then I'm gonna go set it up on the saw so that it goes that direction. Okay, so I have a couple pieces of wood that are really close to the same height. So let me put that down. So that's really close. Okay. And okay, got my cut. Okay, so I'm going to intentionally cut this just a little bit long. That way I can trim it back to size and not ruin a nice piece of wood for nothing. Okay, let's see how long it is, and then I'll come trim. Tell you, a good thing I cut it long, because long is exactly the length it needed to be. Okay, so I got lucky on that one. Okay, so my next piece is going to go to there. So too bad my scrap piece isn't longer, but I'll use that over for the hatch. Okay, for this one, I'm going to cut this angle down here first. So let's go ahead, make sure it's all square, and then we'll... Okay, so there's most of the framing. I have an oops piece I'm going to fix over there. So that's the one I'm going to cut out a notch so that I don't have to re-drill the floor and re-drill the trailer. And it'll just be one little section where there's a little tiny bit less of the 2x3, but there should still be plenty. Okay, let's go ahead and cut that. Okay, this will be the notch of shame so that a bolt can fit. Okay, if the blade hadn't bowed, it would be perfect, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit off the other side, so let's do that. That's how it's going to look framed out. These pieces are just loose. Don't look there. This was the leftover scrap. Decide exactly how I want to do that. Now, here's something that I didn't realize when I was choosing this shape. So, you know, to go to geometry, you know that all those angles there on that side have to add up to 180. All the angles here on this side have to add up to 180 because all around it is 360 degrees. So that doesn't change, that's geometry. So this one has a 2-foot rise over 4 feet, that angle right there. This angle right here has a 1-foot rise over 2 feet. That means those angles are the same. Those are the same angles. And they're all 4 the same, so that's 22.5 degrees each. And I started noticing that when I was setting my saw, saying, wait a minute, why is this 22.5 degrees? That's like a magic angle. So it is. That's why it looks symmetrical to me, because I don't know what they call it, but that's a symmetrical angle, 22.5 degrees. And it's even on my saw for some reason, so I guess everybody uses it. Looked right to my eyeballs. So that's where I am for now. Out. Okay, I have all my boards marked. And so I know where they go. So I'm going to pull those boards off. I'm going to drive a couple screws into this bottom one that's been glued, put the clamps away, take it down off the sawhorses, set it over to the side, and pull my vehicles back into the garage and call this this one done. So you can get to watch me drive a couple screws. Okay, for these I have some 8 by 1 5/8 inch exterior wood screws. They have a coating on them. They're what I have in the box, so that's what I'm going to use. There we go. If they don't go in how you like them, just pull them out and put in a new screw. It's not worth it messing with it for too long. There they are. There's the 2 walls off to the side right now. So I'll keep working on them. You can see where I have the numbers on them. So that's it for today's How Hugh, working on the walls, part 4 or 5. They're going to take a while. Out.